Scary Sis.
And I am Scary Bro.
And we are
the Scary Sibs.
Before we begin our countdown for this month, we want to take a moment to go through and remember some moments from our previous videos.
Yes, Scary Sibs recently celebrated its 1-year anniversary, so let's look back at some of the highlights of this past year. I am Scary Bro.
And I am Scary Sibs.
And we are the Scary Sibs. I wouldn't open...
I will destroy you all! I have possessed a human. Hail to me, mortal.
Fear of possession.
I'm the second demon of the boss, and now free to cause that's what's happening.
All the way from the South Pole for some reason, the Christmas demon Krampus.
Hello, Scary Sibs. Long time no see. Have you been good children this year? Are we stupid?
I'm older and more well-dressed. It will be me that our caretaker selects.
Oh, please! You call that cheap thrift store suit well-dressed? Now,
That is not contracting. Who is it?
Oh, this is, Count Dracula. Isn't he awesome? Do your worst, you little imp.
Out of here, wait.
Hey, stop it! Stop it! Ow, stop! But then how'd I get burned? How'd I get burned? How'd I get burned? How'd I get burned? You may have killed us before, but guess what?
You're mine now, Pop.
Brother? Why are you in the corner like that? Brother!
What? This is the only place I can get signal in here. Summer is in full swing, and I don't know about you, but there's only one genre that comes to mind when I think of camping, fun in the sun, and boating on the lake.
Giant slug movies.
Yes, sister, giant slug movies. Ignoramus. No slasher films. So, is the bus real, or is that just a story? Asking for a friend. They hate it here.
This movie, coupled with the original, can be its own contained, standalone story, and is especially one of the stronger sequels in the franchise. Oh, I said franchise. Oh, can we shoot the scene again?
No! We shot it 6 times! We shot it 6 times! We're not filming it again! We shot it 6 times!
Hello, mortals, and welcome to Scary Sibs.
We are currently in the month of November, which around here means 2 things: Thanksgiving and hunting season. Safe to say, this is the time of the year when humans are very much at the top of the food chain. But what happens when the tables are turned? As it has been for the past several thousand years.
Yes, when animals turn into hunters and go after those in their path. This month, we are counting down the top 10 best horror movies that deal with animals.
So for this list, we will count down the top 10 killer animal movies from number 10 to number... Oh wait, get down!
What's the matter?
Speaking of animals hunting humans, I owe some money to the turkey mafia.
You mean the Turkish mafia?
No, Turkey. That was a close one.
You get yourself into the most interesting situations.
You knew what you were getting into when you became my sister.
I was born after you. I didn't have it.
Now, without further ado, here are the top 10 killer animal movies. Number 10, Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. This 1963 film centers on a woman named Melanie, who, after falling in love with a man she met in a pet shop, travels to his hometown of Bodega Bay to bring his sister some pet birds she wanted. While there, Melanie notices several flocks of wild birds acting strangely, watching people, gathering in masses outside of buildings, and most worryingly, attacking people at random. As the birds get more aggressive, Melanie and her new friends enter a fight for survival against the foul.
Look, this movie just isn't it. If I'm being honest, it is frankly boring. The characters are flat, and nothing holds your attention or makes you want to keep watching until about halfway through. Because, well, nothing interesting is happening. The birds don't even start killing people until later on in the film. The movie also leaves a lot of unanswered questions. Why are the birds attacking? What caused them to do it? None of this is explained. Now, the acting is very strong, I will give it that, but even 5-star acting can't save the awful characters they are portraying.
We wanted to be nice to this film. We really did, especially with it being directed by the legendary Alfred Hitchcock. Unfortunately, the film was simply too boring and left too many plot points unexplained for it to rate high in our estimations.
Number 9, Cujo. This movie centers around a family who are struggling emotionally and financially. When they have car trouble, they seek help from a local mechanic who works out of his home, where he lives with his dysfunctional family and their dog Cujo. Normally a lovable fluffball, Cujo is completely unlike himself and trying to attack the stranded mom and son after he is bitten by a bat and contracted rabies.
This movie honestly was a bit dull in our opinions. Far too much time is devoted to the family and their personal drama, and they just aren't likable characters aside from the father, who is in the movie the least. The mom is a cheer who's sleeping with the family friend, and the kid is whiny and annoying. The movie, of course, picks up traction when Cujo is actually on screen killing people, but this doesn't happen until almost halfway through.
Not a terrible film by any means, but for a horror film, this one is a bit of a snoozer.
Number 8, Lake Placid. After a diver is killed by a mysterious creature in a remote lake, paleontologist Kelly Scott is sent down to investigate as the museum she works for believes it to be a prehistoric creature. While there, she meets with the local police and wildlife control, as well as an eccentric crocodile-obsessed billionaire. Together, our heroes find the culprit to be a gigantic crocodile who seeks to devour all who swim in the waters it calls home.
This movie is very hit or miss. Some things work and some things don't. The acting in some characters is strong, like Betty White and her character, while others fall flat, like our main character, Kelly, who is as flat and boring as they come. The jokes can be extremely funny or unbearably cringeworthy, as is the case with the banter between the sheriff and the billionaire. The alligator is fearsome, but the whole movie talks about how literally no one swims in that lake, so you're almost like, well, just leave it alone then.
This movie definitely has its moments, particularly in the humor department. However, due to a paper-thin plot that's full of holes and some bad acting, this one left something to be desired. I think we can all agree that being attacked by an unexpected predator is not ideal. Remember our recent trip to the lake? Sister, I don't think you ought to be standing so close to the shore.
Brother, this is a secluded, man-made lake, and the city personally monitors every animal that enters or exits the lake. What's gonna happen?
They monitor it, but that doesn't mean they do anything about it.
Ugh, don't remind me. I'm still trying to scrub the scent of salmon out of me. Number 7, Anaconda. This movie is about a group of amateur filmmakers shooting in the Amazon rainforest. They meet a man, Paul Cerrone, who tricks the group into helping him look for and capture a legendary giant and deadly snake. The group is left at the mercy of the jungle and Cerrone and try to survive as best as they can.
This movie is enjoyable, if not what I would call good. Most of the characters are likable, and the acting all around is decent, even if Cerrone's fake accent sticks out like a sore thumb. The kill scenes are also surprisingly suspenseful. However, the snake itself looks incredibly fake, and there are some weird pacing issues in the climax that make the ending feel very clunky and all over the place.
The star-studded cast and genuine suspense make up for the bad elements well enough to keep this film as an enjoyable watch.
Number 6, Deep Blue Sea. This movie takes place at a remote research facility where the scientists present are trying to find a cure for Alzheimer's through the use of enzymes extracted from genetically bred, super-intelligent sharks. After a hurricane strikes the facility, the sharks of course escape, and now it is up to the few remaining survivors to make it out alive before they're either drowned or eaten by the finned predators now roaming the flooded halls.
Okay, on the surface, this movie is kind of stupid. I mean, you heard the description. But when you're watching it, you actually do manage to suspend your disbelief as it has some genuinely scary moments and the suspense is overwhelming. The group is not only fighting these sharks, they are also trapped in a high-pressure vessel that is underwater and going to implode at any moment, adding an extra layer of tension and fear. The acting is also really strong in this film, giving us a mixture of serious and comic relief.
This movie is extremely cheesy and full of 2000s era schlock, and while it may not be quite as iconic as another shark movie we'll get to later, it's honestly not a bad guilty pleasure or shut your brain off creature feature.
Number 5, The Gray. After a plane crash leaves a group of men stranded in the Alaskan wilderness, the group must come together to fight off the cold, the elements, the hunger, and a group of merciless wolves stalking them at every turn. We watch as they put their will to live to the test in this ultimate game of survivability.
There are movies on this list I would describe as enjoyable and fun, and then there's The Gray. This movie is bleak. It does not shy away from the dire circumstances the characters find themselves in and the hopelessness of their situation. Of course, that's not a mark against it because this movie is great. Liam Neeson, of course, brings his A game, but all the other actors are just as convincing. The movie also manages to be genuinely scary. Not just because of the wolves, but also the thought of being lost in the harsh wilderness is scary itself. As for the downsides to the film, it can feel a bit heavy-handed at times, especially when Liam Neeson's character keeps reciting that same poem over and over, and the ending is pretty disappointing. Without spoiling too much, it acts like it's building up to the typical climax, but then stops right as it gets going. Now, I know what they were going for, but hey, call me simple, but I like a good old-fashioned final showdown.
I feel like the title, The Gray, is so telling here because it perfectly describes so many elements in the film. The wolves, the scenery, and the gray moral areas the characters dip into really all encompasses this title. This is a great movie and one we highly recommend, but not if you're looking for a feel-good or fun kind of movie. Hey, brother, do you remember when we had a similar thing happen to us?
That's the last time we fly Texas Tom's Discount Airlines.
What are we going to do now? We're miles away from civilization and the temperature's dropping by the second.
I don't know, but oh, look at that, a pack of little puppies.
Brother, I don't think those are...
Oh, hello, furry little friends. Oh, come here. Who wants a belly rub? Who wants a... sister, help!
Looks like they want to give you belly rubs or belly skin ripping off.
No, not the face. And the lesson from that experience was always lean forward and cover your head during a plane crash to mitigate damage from falling debris.
No. The lesson was when you see a pack of wolves, don't try to pet it.
That too. Number 4, arachnophobia. An expedition to the Amazon to search for a rare spider ends with a cameraman being bitten and killed by the arachnid, who stows away in the man's coffin to his hometown in America. Here, the spider hides in the barn of Dr. Ross Jennings, who naturally has a fear of spiders. After the spider begins breeding and producing equally dangerous offspring, it's up to Dr. Jennings to put aside his fears to find a way to stop the spiders from overrunning the town.
This movie is funny, scary, creepy, crawly, and very uncomfortable. The characters are good, the spiders are fearsome, and as someone who suffers from the titular syndrome, I can attest that this is a film that confirms that fear for me. The only downside would be that there are some boring stretches, and I thought the acting from Dr. Atherton, the one leading the Amazon expedition, was unbearably over the top.
This is a rare horror comedy that balances both well. When it tries to be funny, it is. When it tries to be scary, it's downright terrifying. I would recommend this movie, but maybe not if you have a fear of spiders. Spider.
Number 3, Crawl. This movie is about a swimmer whose talents are put to the ultimate test after she goes to find her father, who is not answering his phone and lives in an area being hit by a Category 5 hurricane. She finds her wounded and unconscious father in the basement of their old house, and as she is trying to get him to safety, we see that the basement is also inhabited by large and vicious alligators who don't want to let them leave.
This movie is very suspenseful. You feel trapped with the characters in this basement that's gradually flooding, and some scenes made me feel claustrophobic. And this is coming from a ghost who spends his eternity in a crypt with the likes of Scary Sibs. Also, the action scenes were very intense and brutal. I don't think alligators in real life are this aggressive, but the ones in Crawl make for some downright chilling monsters.
This film was very impressive as it had all the elements you want in this type of film and no boring stretches. I would highly recommend this film to anyone who loves horror or disaster films.
Number 2, Jurassic Park. In this 1993 Spielberg classic, an eccentric billionaire invites paleontologist Dr. Alan Grant and paleobotanist Dr. Ellie Sattler to view and endorse his exotic zoo filled with living dinosaurs. After a storm and a rogue IT guy sabotage the park and set the dinosaurs loose, it's up to Dr. Grant to save as many people as he can from the rampaging dinosaurs.
This movie is iconic, a classic masterpiece. Everything is good here. The acting, the plot, the effects. This is an overwhelmingly suspenseful movie. And if you don't find the T-Rex or raptor scary, kudos to you because I sure do. The only marks this movie scored low on is sticks with you because, well, we aren't looking under our bed at night for dinosaurs.
This movie is a true classic and one of my personal favorites, and there's a reason it still holds up even today. If you haven't seen this one yet, definitely check it out. Now, there are some that would say Jurassic Park isn't a horror movie, and while, granted, it's not technically classified as one, I'd argue that there are plenty of terrifying moments and straight nightmare fuel for this movie to count for the list.
Oh, please, you're only scared of dinosaurs because of that little incident when you were playing around with time travel magic.
At last, the Mesozoic. Nice warm temperatures, clean humid air, and best of all, no people. This is going to be the best vacation ever. Wait. What did Jurassic Park say? They can't see you if you don't move. My turn! You liar! Yes, that's not something I want to relive, thank you very much.
Brother, T-Rex, look out! Ah! Made you jump.
I despise you.
Number 1, Jaws. The typically quiet and peaceful town of Amity Island is suddenly plagued by gruesome shark attacks. The local sheriff, Martin Brody, must take matters into his own hands as the mayor wants to brush it off and pretend everything is fine so as not to drive away tourists. He recruits 2 others and they go off to take care of the shark.
What can we say about this movie? It's a classic for a reason. Everything just works. The characters are likable. The pacing, unlike previous entries, just feels right. The kills, while not overly gory, are still intense. The shark attacks are suspenseful and gripping, and even the shark itself, which some say looks fake, doesn't really look that bad in our opinions. This movie's another example of Spielberg's genius.
No other film could take this crown like Jaws. It is the reason an entire generation has a fear of sharks. Can't top that. And those were our picks for the top 10 killer animal movies. Do you agree or disagree with any of our picks? Let us know in the comments below.
Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time. Until then, I am Scary Bro.
And I am Scary Sis. And we are
The Scary Sibs. Oh, wait, get down. Shh.
Wait a minute. Why are you afraid of them? You're a ghost. They can't hurt you.
Oh, I know that. I just, don't want them coming in here and looking at me. That, red thing that hangs off of their beaks freaks me out.
He's in here, guys!
Ah, you suck!